I wouldn't go up to someone and be like, oh, your roommate's straight? Oh, how about that, you know? Like, I don't know, I think that alone is like kind of discriminating. Like, I don't know, why does it matter?
My name is Bird and I'm 22 years old.
I'm Jonah, I'm 23 and I identify as gay male.
My name is Shannon Walsh, I'm 19 years old and I identify as a lesbian.
The specific term I identify as is androgyne, and it's kind of like a blend of male and female together. Like a nice smooth coffee blend of both genders. As for like sexuality, I identify as gray asexual, meaning I need to like really get to know somebody before I can feel any sort of like sexual or physical attraction. And in terms of like what genders I'm attracted to, your guess is as good as mine.
Alright, so 6th grade, last day of school, got invited to this really cool girl's like pool party and stuff. This is the same time that Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl came out, ironically. It was the first time I ever heard the song that same day. And they're all like singing it, and then I was like, females, interesting.
When I was in middle school, all the other people were telling me about their crushes on girls, and I was like, oh, this is weird. I have a crush on this guy. How do I explain this to my friends?
I was a freshman in high school and I had a child development class, and I sat behind this senior girl and I just thought she was like the prettiest thing in the world, and I had like, it was difficult for me to realize that I was attracted to her.
I had a weird family situation. I'm the middle of 7 children. I was the last biological. My 3 younger siblings are all adopted. My father is actually gay, and that was the reason for my parents' divorce. They prayed the gay away for 23 years. 7 children later, they're like, this isn't working, so they're divorced now, happily so, and dad is remarried. So actually he came out before I did, and I was like, oh, gay, what is that? I didn't even know what the word meant because of my sheltered upbringing.
Originally, I had come out as bisexual because I knew I liked girls, but I wasn't sure if I liked guys or not. So I ended up telling her, and I was like, oh, I think I'm bisexual. And she pretty much was like, bisexuality doesn't exist, you're wrong. After someone tells you like what you're feeling is wrong pretty much and like just not a thing, it's like really hard to like bounce back from that. So I had to like, I don't know, I tried really hard to just like ignore what she was saying, besides the fact that she was one of my like best friends at the time.
I sent my younger brother and my 2 parents a Facebook message like in the middle of the day. I said, hey, I wanted you to know, like I didn't say gay, I said I'm attracted to females. I'm dating one of my housemates. This is why I broke up with my now ex-boyfriend. I know you're not cool with that, but I hope you can accept me anyway. And they didn't answer me all day, so I just kind of figured that they weren't going to, so I made my like relationship status public with them on Facebook. So they freaked out, and like pretty much immediately afterwards they all called me and yelled at me to take down the Facebook status, that I was destroying the family, and my brother texted me saying I was no longer like his sibling anymore, and it was really, really rough. Like it was horrible for me because I was really close with my family, so all of a sudden it went to nothing and I didn't communicate with them for a while, so that was really tough.
My best friend at the time was kind of like a awkward coming out experience, so I was really nervous trying to tell my parents, but I ended up just sitting them down and I was like, I think I'm gay, and they're like, oh, well that's okay, we still love you the same. So I was lucky, my parents were accepting of it. So they say. And then when it actually came down to like things happening and like I'd have girls over, and like I remember one time my dad was like yelled at me for cuddling this girl. He's like, why are you so close?
I never really came out. I've never been in the closet. Didn't know that was a thing. I just kind of knew what I was and I was like, okay, this is me, everybody. I never had to like explain it to anyone. Most people knew. Pretty flamboyant.
I wanted to start at the beginning, like I've never felt like a girl. And then she said, oh, and she goes and she interrupts. She's like, oh, well I never have either, like I've always been a tomboy. And I said, yeah, it's like that, but it goes further, like it's an identity thing. Like people would always call me a girl when I was younger, and I was upset by it and I didn't know why. After I got to school, I started doing more research on gender type things, and I randomly stumbled across the definition androgyne, and the way it was described was as a male and a female, like kind of like combined into one person. And I was like, hey, that's me. I mean, I guess it's kind of like I'm gender fluid because I feel more like a girl on some days, more like a guy, but it's like regardless of how I present, I still feel like me. I still feel like both kind of mixed together into this perfect bird concoction.
I got bullied a few times, and one time I got two people tried to jump me after school was over, and I used a book bag and hit one of them in the nuts and ran for my life. Lost the textbook, but it was totally worth it for my life.
In terms of figuring out who you are, if you're confused about your gender or your sexuality, like I know it's really scary and you feel like you need a label or you need a box to belong in, and I just want to tell people it's okay not to have a box.
Don't be afraid to explore yourself and find who you are and be that proudly.
It's okay to love whoever it is. It could be anyone, and it's perfectly fine, and you deserve complete and utter happiness without a doubt in my mind. And it doesn't matter who you're with, but you will find the right person for you. Even if your person is yourself, you'll be fine and everything will be okay.
Actual advice on coming out. I would say do your research and know how to explain yourself. Expect the worst. I mean, I don't want to say this, but like expect the worst. Try and set up some sort of backup so you like could have somewhere to go in case they don't like react well.
If you're a parent who your child just told you that they're gay, you should definitely just give them a giant hug, because it took a lot of balls to say that.
Respect is the most important thing in this relationship that you have.
Literally just love them. Like just love them. They're still the people you love and care about, regardless of who they're gonna go to bed with at night, regardless of the name on their name tag. They're still the people you grew up with and you loved. So just like don't lose sight of that.
It's like ridiculous how anxiety provoking telling someone that you care about.
They're still them. Like don't push them out just because they look different. Like they still love you. They're still them.
So just like hug your child and tell them that it's okay and that you love them still, because it's like really, really, really comforting to hear.
Be kind and considerate, even if you don't understand it.